And then slowly come down onto your mat. We'll start on our backs, just finding comfortable position with your knees bent. Knees should be in line with the hips, and feet are also in line with the knees. Take a nice inhale here, feeling the ribs expand, and full exhale. Start to feel your pelvis, your sacrum, heavy into the mat, the feet anchored, your shoulder blades, your ribs. You have a little space under your low back, so you're finding a neutral pelvis. And then we're just going to start with our pelvic tilts. So we've done a lot of spine movement, good footwork, so now we're going to move the pelvis. Inhale. To prepare, exhale, start to curl your tailbone under so that your tailbone goes towards the ceiling without squeezing the glutes. We're not doing a big shoulder bridge. And then release it back to neutral. Inhale and exhale, curl. So just start to think of moving the bones, not squeezing any muscles, and release back to neutral. So by getting these bones to move, keep going with your pelvic tilts, going at your own pace. I like to exhale as I curl, inhale, release to neutral. We want to get the bones to move because that's how we release those tight muscles, especially the low back that likes to overdo it here. 2 more, just going at your own pace. Inhale, good, exhale, and then inhale to release. 1 more, exhale, and inhale, release. Good, now we're going to go a little bit side to side. So if you think of your pelvis as a bowl of soup, we're going to tilt that bowl of soup to the right. As you do that, the left side of your pelvis will lift slightly. The left knee goes forward, but the knees are still pointing to the ceiling. I'm not squeezing any muscles, and I come back down to neutral. Then we tilt the bowl of soup to the left. The right hip lifts, the right knee goes slightly forward, so nice and slow here. Knees are to the ceiling, and come back down. And it feels a little bit like a diagonal. Good, bowl of soup tilts to the right, kind of that right diagonal, as the left hip lifts forward on the left diagonal, left knee is forward. It's the same movement you do with your pelvis when you're walking, when you take a step forward. So as the bowl of soup tilts to the left, think that you're taking a step forward with your right. And back down. 1 more each side. Inhale, just moving the bones. So getting some release through the low back, through the SI joint. 1 more. Inhale. Shifting the bowl of soup to the left. Right knee goes forward. And slowly come back down. Good. Now we're going to take that bowl of soup in a circle. So we're going to combine all that together. Tilt your tailbone under. So we're doing that pelvic tilt. The bowl of soup tilts towards your belly button. Then the bowl of soup tilts to the right. It goes down towards your heels. It goes to the left and back to start. Tailbone tucks under. Go the same direction. Bowl of soup goes to the right. Down around to the left and back. Now notice, are your knees moving? Not about the knees. Try to move the pelvis. The knees are going to stay pointing to the ceiling the whole time. Yeah, they may shift forward and back slightly, but they're not opening. They're staying to the ceiling. Good. Now we reverse it. So we tilt, bowl of soup goes to the left. It goes down around to the right and back to center. And same idea. Think of the bones moving. I'm not squeezing any muscles. just doing a circle of the pelvis. And you can make it more fluid. It doesn't have to be so rigid, hitting one side at a time. You can make it more of a smooth circle. Exhaling around. One more. Just at your own pace. Keep those knees pointing to the ceiling. Yeah, so we're isolating the pelvis. I know those legs want to help. They want to take over, especially those quads. And release. Come back to neutral. Good. Nice. And then hug your right knee into your chest and slide the left leg out. Flex the left foot and gently squeeze that left glute to feel an opening through the left hip flexor. Good. Breathe. Inhale and full exhale. Good. One more breath here. Inhale, engaging the left glute, reaching that heel forward. Good. And full exhale. Good. Now, gently take your right knee across to the left side. Gentle twist. I have my bolster here that I'm actually going to rest my knee on. So if you want to rest your knee on your towel or your pillow as you come across, you can. Open your right arm out to the side. Eyes can look to the right, and it's a gentle spine twist, which is why I'm resting my knee on the pillow. So we're getting more reach, more rotation through the pelvis and the spine. One more breath. Inhale. Feel that right shoulder down. Exhale. Use your obliques on that right side to carefully and with control bring that knee back to the center. Good. And then we're going to switch legs. So hug the left knee in, slide the right leg out. Flex that right foot, engage that right glute. Feel that opening and stretch through the hip flexor. Nice deep inhale and full exhale. One more breath. Inhale, really reach through that foot and exhale. Good. And then we're going to gently take it across. I'm going to move my pillow over, my bolster over, bring that leg across, either towards the floor or your towel or pillow. Open your left arm. Let your eyes look to the left and try to keep your left shoulder down. So you're only rotating as far as that left shoulder stays down. And don't feel like you need to force it or pull it across. But that's happening, and that's when the pillow and towel comes in handy. Inhaling and full exhale. One more breath here. Full exhale, breathing into the ribs. And then feel that left rib, left oblique, pull back to bring that knee back into the chest. Good. Switch legs again. So hug your right knee in and keep your left knee bent for a sec and straighten your right leg to the ceiling. So go where you can straighten the right leg, which is why I like to always start with the left knee bent. Flex the foot, pull the toes back to your face. Good. Yeah, we're back doing a little footwork here. And then point your toes, reach them to the ceiling. Really stretch the foot. Flex, pull those toes back. Think of the heel reaching to the ceiling. Good. And point, reach it up, up, up. One more, flex, pull it back, lengthening behind the knee. Heel is gonna touch the ceiling. And then point the toes, stretch. Good. Now just a relaxed foot here. We just did front back. Now we're gonna go side to side. So start to rotate your toes towards your left shoulder without moving your thigh bone. And come back to center. Now rotate your toes towards your right shoulder. So you're kind of turning your foot to the side. Without the thigh bone moving, and come back to center. rotate your toes to the left. So you feel the outside of the foot going more to the ceiling. Good, thigh bone doesn't move. Come back to center, rotate the other way. Now the inside of the foot, the instep of the foot goes more to the ceiling. Good, one more. And I'm going slow for a reason. So that thigh bone stays still and we work on really moving from the foot, the ankle, not letting the whole leg move there. And that's flexibility that we lose in our feet quite quickly. Good, and then bend the knee in, shake it out. Switch legs. Right leg goes down, left leg comes to the ceiling. Just go where you can straighten the leg. So I'm just holding behind my thigh. Point the foot, reach the toes to the ceiling and flex it. Heel goes to the ceiling, toes pull back to your face. Point the foot, really reach, reach, reach. We're going slow, we're moving every part of the foot. And then start to pull the toes back, the ball of the foot, the heel lifts. Yeah, good to be very specific here. The thigh bone doesn't change. Reach the toes, get long through the toes, and then pull the ball of the foot back. Then the heel lifts to the ceiling. Good. And then find kind of a relaxed foot here, so I'm not overly pointing it. And rotate your toes to the right. Like you're reaching towards that right shoulder. And the inside, or I should say the outside of the foot is going to the ceiling. Thigh doesn't move. Come back to center. Rotate your foot to the other way. So the inside of the foot is more to the ceiling. The outside is pulling back towards you. And back to center. Rotate your toes to the right. So you're kind of, we also call this sickling the foot in ballet. And then back to center. And then move it to the other side. Inside of the foot to the ceiling. Good, one more. Rotate to the right, sickle the foot. Thigh bone doesn't move. And rotate it out to the other side. Good, and then bend the knee in. Nice, hug both knees into the chest. Bring your legs to tabletop. We're gonna do a little bit of transverse abdominis. Last thing here on our back. So just relax the feet now, hands to the knees. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, try to push your legs away. They're not gonna move. So hands to knees, knees to hands. 2 more breaths. Inhale. Exhale, press it away, ribs heavy. 1 more, feel those deep low abs working. Inhale. And full exhale, try to push those legs away, but they're not gonna move. And then a little release. Okay, we repeat 1 more time. The first one's always a bit of figuring it out. So the second one will be better. Hands to the front of the knees. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, try to push the legs away, but they're not gonna move. Shoulders down. Inhale. Exhale, push a little deeper, ribs heavy. 1 more breath. Inhale and exhale, push away and release. Good. And then gently just start to rock forward and back. Little roll like a ball. The tighter the ball shape, the harder it is. 2 more. Inhale, hips. Exhale, ribs. Last one, inhale and exhale, put the feet down. Good. Make your way onto all fours, onto hands and knees. And just set yourself up so that your hands are right under your shoulders and knees are right under the hips. And then just gently try to push your palms into the mat so you feel your shoulder blades spread apart. And try to pull your belly button up to your spine. So you're not letting your abs and your stomach hang down. Good. Keep that without changing anything. Just try to reach your right arm forward. Pelvis doesn't move, shoulders don't move, and put it back down. Doesn't need to be big. So now we're working on stability here. Left arm goes forward, nothing changes. Lift up through the waist, try not to sink in the ribs, and put the hand down. Good, right arm. And if you noticed you were shifting, maybe the hand doesn't go so high. And put it back down. Left arm. Good, nothing moves but the arm, and put it back down. Okay, now we're going to do the same idea with the legs. So our arms stay planted, belly button to spine, ribs to the ceiling. Right leg slides back. Maybe it lifts off the floor, maybe it doesn't. Without shifting weight, try to straighten that leg. And slowly bring the knee back down. Same idea. Try not to shift in the pelvis or the shoulders. Nothing moves. Slide the left leg back. You may keep the toes on the floor, or you may lift it up, only if you don't shift into that right hip. And bring the knee down with control. Lift up through the waist. Right leg slides back. Good, weight lifts out of the wrist. Think almost like you're pushing the floor away. And lift up to bring it back down. Left leg, reach it back. Belly button to spine, shoulder blades wide. And control it back down. Good. Right leg slides back and lifts. Now, if you want a little challenge, we're adding those two things together. You can lift your left arm forward. So opposite arm and leg. And then with control, bring your knee and your hand back down to the mat. Good, left leg slides back. Maybe it stays down, maybe it lifts. Right arm reaches. Doesn't need to be high. Lift up through the waist. And slow control back down. Good. Bring your hips back to your heels. Come off the wrist. Take a child's pose. Exhale. Make sure your knees are wide enough that you can breathe your ribs into the thighs. Give space for your belly. Inhaling and exhaling. Good. And then make your way back to all fours. We're going to add in a little rotation. One more thing on all fours. So coming back to the hands and knees, push down with your left arm and reach your right arm towards the ceiling. I call this one thread the needle. Now we're going to thread that right arm through, and our right shoulder comes down, and the head can also rest. Hips are to the ceiling. Then push down with the left arm, lift back up with the right. Then we're going to switch. We're going to alternate sides. So bring the right hand down, plant it down. Also, we get a little bit more rotation. You may notice on one side. So it's nice to alternate. And then slide that left arm through. Left shoulder can come down, head can come down. Hips are high. Good. Breathe. Feel that really good mid-back rotation, which we don't get enough of. And then push down with the right arm to come back where you started. And then bring the left hand down. Good. We go back to the right. Push down with the left as you lift the right arm up. Feel that right rib rotate. And then thread the arm through. Exhale. Shoulder comes down, head comes down, breathe. This is such a great one that you can do anywhere. You can do this in bed, before you go to bed, when you wake up, push down to come up. So you get that nice spiraling through the spine. And bring the right hand down. Push down with the right, left arm lifts. Thread the needle. So bring it back down to the floor. We slide that left arm through. Left shoulder comes down, head comes down. And you can hold there as long as you want to. We're doing a little more of a flow today, but you can also hold it in a more restorative way. and then push down to come up. Good, next, and then plant the hands down. Take a wrist stretch. I'm gonna flip my fingers back to face my knees, palms down. Now from here, this may be plenty of a stretch, or you can lean back. So lean back towards your heels is gonna intensify it. Breathe. And you can also do one hand at a time if it's too intense. Good, one more breath. And then come forward, bring the hands back. Then take your right hand, palm to the ceiling, and the fingers come back. Just one hand at a time here. So this one can be a little more intense. So my palms facing the ceiling, fingers face the knee. Same idea, you can move a little bit, but I'll tell you this one, don't move too much, it's tight. One more breath and let it release. Try the other side. Palm to the ceiling, left fingers back towards left knee. Good, breathe into it. And then let it release. Nice, we're gonna make our way onto our stomach. I'm gonna use the bolster for my hips because I can no longer lay comfortably on my stomach. But that also is a good option if you ever feel it in the low back. If not, if you're just coming all the way onto the stomach, pretend that I am too. And we're just gonna let our head rest on our hands. So we're gonna start with a gentle swan here. And I like to have legs a little bit apart, that's gentler on the back. And try to feel your tailbone reaching to your heels. So you lengthen your low back, you feel the belly pull up to the spine, and try to relax your shoulders away from the ears. Good, then from here, push down into your elbows and just gently start to lift your head and your chest up. And I'm also pushing down with my feet, a little lift with the knees. Belly button pulls in, eyes are looking to the front edge of your mat. Just starting to get a little extension through the upper back. And then exhale, control it back down. Good, 2 more like that. Press the feet down, lift the knees, push the elbows down, almost like you're gonna float off of the mat. Get longer, not higher. Good. Good. And slow exhale, control down. One more, elbows push down, feet press down, lift up through the head and chest. Good, lengthening, pulling belly button to spine, tailbone to heels. Good, and slow, control down. Now we're gonna leave the head down and work on single leg hip extension. So head stays down. I'm gonna keep mine up because that's a little more comfortable for me and I can cue better. You're gonna lift just your right leg off. And think of getting longer, same idea, longer, not higher, and put it back down. Now we're gonna stay on that leg. Lift the right leg up, thigh bone lifts. Doesn't have to be high. We're trying not to shift the pelvis. And put it back down. Good. 3 more. Lift up, up, up. Lengthen out. And put it back down. Good. 2 more. Very similar feeling to that hamstring extension we did on all fours. And now you're really opening up through the front of the hip. Last one to the right. Lengthen and lift. Doesn't need to be high. And put it back down. Good. Now we go to the other side. Feet stay down, knees stay up. Lift your left leg up and get longer. Good, like I'm pulling your foot to the wall behind you and put it back down. Good, and lift. Reach out through the left. Pelvis doesn't move. And put it back down. Good, and lift it up, 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 and down. Last two. Think of the thigh bone lifting, not the foot. Doesn't matter how high the foot gets. And down. One more. Left leg lifts. Good, and exhale, lower down. Nice. Just let your hips kind of rock a little side to side. Exhale. And then push yourself back. Counter stretch. Take a child's pose. Or an option here, if you'd like a little bit more back of the leg stretching, you can also come into a downward dog, or in Pilates what we call elephant. Dropping the heels down, lifting the hips to the ceiling. So child's pose or down dog, whatever feels better today. If you're in down dog, I like to bend one knee at a time. Maybe move the hips a little side to side. Good. Dropping one heel, getting a little more stretch through the back of the legs. Good. And then if you're in a child's pose, come briefly to this position. So we're all going to walk our feet forward to our hands, soften the knees, let the head hang down. Exhale. So nice soft knees. Notice how you're standing on your feet, like we talked about in the beginning, where you're rolling in and out. Have all 10 toes down, arches lifted. Keep the knees soft and slowly come up. That nice form through the legs, stacking your ribs over hips, nice and slow. Shoulders come back in line with the ears, standing tall. Good.